this was one of the things that I was kind of worried about, and this is why, to be honest with you, it does zero good for Microsoft to do a console refresh that is going to take advantage of, newer hardware, things like that. Like, do people really want another Xbox? I can't imagine that there would be a big market for it, but do people really want a new Xbox that can only do slightly more consistent frame rates, like not better frame rates, right? Like if it's not a console that could get Starfield to 60 frames, or some of these other games that have come in at 30, then what would be the point, to be honest with you? Like, we'd be in the same type of situation that we were previously with the Xbox One X, which was a good console for sure, but it was a good console because we had a relatively weak console in the Xbox One to begin with. So when you see stuff like this, yeah, it is frustrating. I feel you guys. A lot of people have talked to me about this and said, hey, it's kind of BS that this is happening. It's only going to get worse from here on out, folks. Like, I know what you guys are going through, but in case you guys didn't know, so this is what's going on. We know Hi-Fi Rush was ported to the PlayStation 5, and now we know that the PlayStation 5 version of the game is absolutely slaughtering the Xbox Series X and S version in a number of areas, including shadows, as well as loading times by almost a minute, and then over a minute in case of versus the Xbox Series S. So yeah, this is something that was bound to happen. We keep seeing this happen. The Hi-Fi Rush actually has a better Metacritic score, sitting at a 91 on the PS5 versus the Xbox Series X, which is an 87 right now. So yeah, we do have that situation kind of going on, and maybe that shouldn't come as a surprise. I know people go, hey, Xbox is they're doing okay for themselves, etc., etc., but that's not really necessarily the case. I think there are some things where Xbox is doing okay, but I don't mean to sound like bad or anything like that all the time, but there is stuff like this makes Xbox look bad, right? You have your own Xbox exclusive, was the first win for Xbox coming off an awful 2022, and now your best game is doing better on PlayStation 5. And not only is it doing better on PlayStation 5, but it is reviewing better on PlayStation 5. So you make your own gamers feel like second-class citizens. And I feel like that is really, really unfortunate, to say the least. And, again, we also kind of live in a world where this is my reasoning to begin with, right? So a lot of people go, well, if there's a PS5 Pro, Microsoft definitely needs to come out with an Xbox Series X Pro or whatever. Well, first of all, there's multiple reasons why that wouldn't be really something that they should do. First of all, and I've mentioned this in a couple other videos, when the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro came out, PS4 Pro came out really to help out with PSVR, but also there was an influx of cheap 4K TVs. So, everybody was getting a 4K TV. They went down to a few $100s. I know nobody with an 8K TV, right? Like, nobody has an 8K TV. So, to upscale to 8K or whatever is really pointless. I don't think, I think 4K is where it's at, where it's going to stay, at least for the foreseeable future. When you look at it and you see, okay, only 50% of people have a 4K TV, so it hasn't even reached saturation point yet. So, we kind of live in that world. Now, why else wouldn't it be feasible or smart to do a mid-gen refresh again? Well, because developers aren't going to take advantage of it, right? The majority of people are using a PS5, and therefore PS5 versions are the ones that we see with the with the best version. So take this case in point right here, where we see the Xbox is getting beat once again. Dragon's Dogma 2, big new game coming out. Apparently this is a really good game. So according to this, PS5 and Xbox Series X runs at a dynamic 4K resolution with an average unlocked FPS of 38 frames per second on PS5, slightly higher average at around 40 frames per second on Xbox Series X, but the average resolution and picture quality is better and higher on PS5 compared to the Series X. Also, it looks like the draw distance PS5 version comes in second to PC. Let's see. Xbox Series X and S versions having less shadow and vegetation details in the distance. Shadows are slightly more detailed on Sony's console. They also make mention of slight banding on some surfaces on Xbox Series X and S. So I'm going to link all this stuff. So here's the big new hotness, the new game or whatever. Of course, this is from Capcom, and it runs worse on Xbox. Now, you might go, how is that possible, right? Because, to be honest with you, Series X is a more powerful platform. The problem is that people are not fully taking advantage of the hardware, and that is a major problem, and, continues to be a major problem going forward. Like, we just don't see developers take advantage of it because there's not enough gamers on the platform. So that is really sort of the situation that Xbox find themselves in, because they've pushed this whole you don't need to buy an Xbox thing to play Xbox, and at the end of the day, that is really sort of where we're at with this. People weren't buying Xboxes. I wish that they would. There's nothing saying that you can't have other ways to play your platform. Look, Sony puts their stuff on PC now. Sony has actually better cloud services than Xbox does. Sony has mobile games, but they still put a focus on their console, and this is the reason why they do well. You don't want to treat those fans as an afterthought, and as an Xbox fan for many years now, I feel like an afterthought, right? Like, listen, I'll give you guys another example. So, Ghostwire Tokyo, great game. I love that game. If you get a chance to play it, please play it. Came out as a year-timed exclusive on PlayStation 5 even after Microsoft bought Bethesda, because that contract was already signed and they didn't want to go back on it. Okay, fair enough. So when it comes to Xbox, it should be running better and, I'll have all the kinks worked out, right? Nope. When it came to Xbox, it actually ran worse than the PS5 did at launch. So, that's the type of stuff that Xbox, for whatever reason, they struggle with. And, it's a real problem, because I can remember early on when they were talking about buying Bethesda stuff, they're like, we're going to get exclusives from the Bethesda sale, or at the, and the stuff that isn't exclusive is going to be better or first on Xbox. And that just hasn't been the case so far. I don't know. What do you guys think, though? Sound off in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.